Hi, everybody. Welcome into today's show here on JTV. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency, 269-200-2905, myinsuranccircle.com, Jackson and Battle Creek. I'm David, that's Adam. Hello, Adam.
Hello, happy hump day, after Election Day.
Day after Election Day. You know what? I'm glad we have no more political ads.
Yeah, that is nice.
The texts, the phone calls, the TV commercials, the radio commercials.
And those texts were getting bad for me.
Yeah, you said you wanted to bring up the text.
I'm just happy that
I only got a few texts, like literally only like a handful out of the whole election cycle.
Wow, really?
I got mostly just like TV commercials. I didn't even get a single phone call from a telemarketer.
It's funny. What? So I don't watch too much TV unless it's like sports or something like that. But
Right.
So I didn't get too many political ads. But the texts, I probably averaged. I'm not even joking with you. I probably averaged like 10 to 12 political texts a day.
A day?
Yeah, either
10 to 12 a day?
Yeah, either 10 to 12 a day. Yeah. I would say calls and texts. Yeah, dude, it was nonstop.
What?
Dude, it was nonstop. And yesterday was the worst. I had to have gotten 30 yesterday. I had to have.
I didn't even see a single political ad on TV yesterday. I thought Monday was the last day for it all.
Dude,
but
during this political cycle, my nights would be, before I go to bed, I sit there and I delete all those political texts for the day because I just won't open them. So
clear,
it'll just, dude,
delete.
like right now,
Report junk.
I have 80 unread messages. And I guarantee you that, and those are texts, I guarantee you that 75 of those are older political texts that I haven't deleted yet. Crazy. I'm just happy it's done because I'm tired of getting text messages from 517 numbers thinking they're clients or something like that. And then I open it up and it's like, this candidate's bad. So
Yeah.
I'm just happy it's done.
Right. Vote for me because this person supports this.
It's like, shut up.
Right. Yeah. Both sides.
Yeah, please.
Please.
We're done.
Doesn't matter who you voted for. The political ads, I'm glad they're away. And we won't have to deal with it until
2 years from now. And then another
2 years for our governor race in 2 years.
That's right.
So in the midterms. But anyways, no more political ads day after the election. We're all happy. I think we're all happy that it's just over. Yeah, thank you. It's all happy that it's just over in general.
Yeah, for sure.
No matter who you voted for, whether your candidate won or lost.
Yeah.
So high school football playoffs round 2 is coming up this Friday. I will be back out in Springport. They're taking on Reading. You'll be at Lumen. They take on Ida. We'll start with Lumen, Division 6. Of course, Lumen won the first round 42-8 over 4 and 5 Dearborn Heights, Robichaud. Lumen back-to-back defending Division 7 state champions, of course, now in 6. Last time they were in Division 6, they won a three-peat.
Hey.
Even though they were in 7 the last 2 years, they can go for the three-peat again.
That's right.
And I think they will. I think until they get to the semi or Ford Field, before that, I think Ida's their biggest test because they're not losing to a 4 and 5 team. We knew that.
Right.
That was a runaway.
Right.
Ida 9-1. Get this, their only loss was to Hudson, 16-8. They only allowed 16 points on Hudson.
I was gonna say you only allow 8, or yeah, that's right.
We watched that Hudson team last week
Dude.
against a good Napoleon team.
Yeah, but I guess I'd be really impressed if they were to have beaten Hudson. But that tells you they can hang.
And Ida, in 8 of their 10 games so far this year, they've scored at least 40 points.
Well, I don't think they're going to be doing that in this game.
No, but I
think they'll still put points on the board.
I think so. Ida won 56-8 in the first run over Dearborn Advanced Tech Academy, which didn't know they had a football team. But
I'm from that area, and I didn't know they had a football team.
Never heard of their football team?
No, absolutely not.
No, I don't think they'll score 40 on Lumen Christi. And, I guess we can make picks. Our picks are technically over.
Yeah.
But I'll take Lumen over Ida. But
Well,
I think it'll be a close. It won't be running clock. I can tell you that. Ida's not going to come down here to Jackson and get running clocked by Lumen. I'm not saying Ida's beating Lumen because Lumen will win. but it's going to be closer than I think some people expect. Some people are like, "Oh, Lumen's just going to run the table all the way till they
I
get to
think you
Ford
could have
Field."
a close 3 quarters. I think the first 3 quarters will be close, but Lumen always seems find a way to pull away at the end, and
Like
at
the
least get
Gaylord
like a
game,
yeah, and at least get like a 2 possession lead to where they make it kind of unmanageable for them. So
about between halfway and like the last couple minutes of the third quarter against Gaylord is when Lumen really
yeah,
did their thing, and they ran away with it and won by 3 possessions. And I think that could be the same case, and I think it could be around the same score. That game was 37-20 Lumen. Now I think it either be come down to it or the same situation. But I do think it'll be somewhat high scoring because Ida's offense still is too much.
I was about to ask, are they like a heavy pass? Are
I'm
they
not.
like air
I'm not
raid?
sure. I haven't
Okay.
watched any video on them, but clearly their offense is pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
they've scored 48 out of 10 games.
I think I got a good game then. I think I have a good game that I'm going to this week. I mean, if
And
it's,
I
if
have a
it's,
good one
they have
too.
a shot.
Before I really was doing my reading research, tongue twister there. Those two teams, of course, because they're both in the Big Eight, played earlier this year. I don't know if you saw this on the note yet here. When they played earlier in Week 6, Springport only won at Reading 28-24.
Mm.
And the way Springport dominated Addison last week, I think I got a good game too. So
I think the Port wins that though.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll be as close. If Springport can dominate in all 3 phases like they did in the halfway through the second quarter, really is when they turned it around and dominated against Addison. But it was 13-8 at halftime against the Panthers last week for Springport, which I was shocked by coming in. I was like, I don't know. This isn't what I expected when I came here.
Yeah.
And then the second half, obviously, because you were wondering, too, in the highlights, where'd all the scoring come from?
Well, yeah, because I was editing. When I was editing, I got through the first half, and like Austin took a shot at the scoreboard, and I had previously saw when I dragged in the footage what the final score was. So I was just like, how do we get to this final score? And then finally the second half started, and I'm like, oh, that's how we get to that final score. That makes sense.
Right. Reading comes in 6-4. They lost Week 1 to White Pigeon, non-conference. You probably haven't heard of White Pigeon.
I've not heard of
either.
White Pigeon.
They're still very D8
Oh, okay.
small, like these schools.
Mhm.
And then they lost to the other 2 teams that Springport lost to in the conference. Obviously, Union City, Bronson, White Pigeon, and then Reading lost to Springport. So, Division 7. But so I'll take Springport.
Yeah. And I got the Port too. I mean,
And
I
it's a
think
trophy week now.
That's right. They might be
So-
going home with the trophy. But I think Port gets their second playoff win. Reading can make it close. We've talked about that, but I think
It'll be closer than last week.
yeah. But and like you said, like it's not like these are like full on runaway games. Like some of these games are going to be fun and entertaining.
I think all 4 of these games will not be runaways. It'll be for sure not running clock, couple possessions at least.
Mhm.
Division 7, Leslie playing on Saturday at 1 o'clock, going almost an hour and a half to 2 hours to Grosse Pointe Woods University Liggett. Grosse Pointe had a big win against Bath last week, 41-14. But Grosse Pointe, their losses were to just powerhouses. They got killed by Country Day, expected, 44-7. Riverview Gabriel Richard,
They lost to Gabriel Richard.
who is playing Manchester. We'll talk about that game coming up, by 20.
Wow.
So that shows how big of a test Manchester will have. And then they lost to Macomb Lutheran North by a lot, too. So all 3 of their losses were blowouts. And, of course, Leslie coming off 49-7 over Burton Atherton. Joel Cranmore did his thing last week, 5 touchdowns. Leslie still, of course, coming off their first ever Cascades football championship. And even in Grosse Pointe's wins, they've scored, it's either a lot or they've scored like 21, and it's been low scoring. There hasn't been really an in-between for some of those games. And on paper, I think Grosse Pointe's the favorite. They have more playoff points coming into this matchup against Leslie. But Leslie's offense against everybody except Grass Lake, but besides everybody they've played, they've thrown 4, 5, 6
Right,
touchdowns.
right.
They've just been ridiculous.
Got to take Leslie here. At least my humble opinion. Got to take Leslie. I mean, that attack is so fun to watch, and they have a shot to make it deep in this playoff.
Well,
what do they got next week?
that's what I was going to bring up.
Oh, no.
Because after that,
Oh, no.
they have to go. If they beat Grosse Pointe, they have to play at the best team in Division 7 at Monroe St. Mary Catholic Central. We went there 2 years ago when Napoleon made their semifinal run.
They're good. That's a good team.
They're really good.
Yeah.
But, of course, at the time, Napoleon was a really good team.
Right.
But, yeah, that's not a place you want to play, and their field conditions, too, at least then, were not good either.
Yeah.
Just a dust bowl there.
Ugh.
No stall doors.
Oh, my gosh.
I still feel bad for Jeff Steers when he experienced that there at Monroe St. Mary.
Like the old Tiger Stadium troughs.
Yeah, the old Napoleon Pirates
That's
trough
right.
in there. But anyways, if that's who they'll play though, if Leslie wins at Monroe St. Mary. But I think Leslie's been too dominant up to this point, so Leslie close, but Leslie.
And I'm rooting for Leslie as well. We'd love to see them in advance.
Of course, I'm still rooting for them against Monroe St. Mary, but
it's
that's
tough.
a tough
It's
matchup.
tough.
They're going to have to play exactly how they played last week against Burton.
It's kind of like what the Ida fans are probably feeling right now about Lumen. Happy that they're there, but that's a tough game.
But you kind of know in advance, at least with Ida,
Yeah,
what's
but
going to happen.
you also think you can hang, I think. You wouldn't be playing if you didn't think you can hang with
Right.
them.
It won't come down to like whoever has the ball last is going to win because Lumen's, as long as I've worked here, maybe a couple games like at Ford Field. Besides that, I've never watched Lumen in that situation where it's come down to whoever has the ball last is going to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just not
their style of football either.
right.
So.
Only one time, and that was when Traverse City St. Francis played here a couple of years ago.
Yeah, good game. Good game.
But and then Division 8, speaking of Gabriel Richard, they beat Grosse Pointe Woods 48-28, and they host Manchester, who came off a low-scoring win with 15 seconds left, 20-17 over Petersburg Summerfield. Riverview coming off a big win over Cabrini, 48-0.
48-0. Sorry, Tyler, Rob, Nick, and Jer, but your team did not play well. 48-0. That's sorry. I had to just get that in there. My buddy's alma mater, but
thanks for watching and listening.
Thanks for watching, guys.
But I don't know who to pick here. Honestly, obviously,
I know who I want to pick.
I'm a Full House T guy. Josh Lindemann and the way he runs it in Manchester. But looking, though, at Manchester, the amount of points that they've scored in most games this year, besides last week, has been ridiculous. And even though they lost to Grass Lake, they still scored 46 against Grass Lake. And that's saying a Division 6 Grass Lake. Manchester close at their place. I think Coach Lindemann and the Dutch take the bus right there, and this is going to be just one of those, like the line has to be like excellent.
Yeah.
And no turnovers can happen. No turnovers can happen. You can't run into a 3rd and long. But I guess you can really say that, though, right, about any Full House or Wing T team. If you get into a 3rd and long, you have to hit pass, which is something they don't do. Even Napoleon only passed 2 times this year.
Wait a minute.
They passed 1 time against Hudson.
Wait a minute. They only passed 2 times,
And
period?
Napoleon only passed 1 other time before that, I think, once or twice. So they only passed 2 or 3 times this year.
That is awesome.
And Manchester, I don't know how often they've passed or not. But anyways, Manchester close against Gabriel Richard. That's how I look at this.
I'm just kind of, I guess I'm partial because I'm a Riverview guy. I'm not a Riverview Gabriel Richard guy. So
right, I was gonna say I know you're not a Gabriel Richard Riverview guy, but
definitely not. But I'm a Riverview guy, which means that I'm going to pick against Gabriel Richard because they're not Riverview High School, they're Riverview Gabriel Richard. These are two different schools.
Right.
I didn't go to Gabriel Richard.
Right. My dad drives an Aston Martin.
My dad, my papa. So yeah, I have been Manchester.
That's the comparison.
But yeah, no, I genuinely think Manchester will win this game if you look at these teams on paper, and I'm not like overly impressed with Gabriel Richard.
And again, you can say this about any full house or wing T style team, but no turnovers can happen in this game. No fumbles.
Right.
Obviously, they're not going to throw a pick. So no fumbles. The line has to be excellent.
Your line plays well, you win this game. That's just how it is. That's just how that
come
offense
down,
is.
Right. So I'm really interested to see that. And all four of these games, obviously, I really don't know 100% besides Lumen, who I think is going to win.
Mm-hmm.
So the other three games, I'm really going to be, on the phone during the game, who's got the lead here. But Leslie plays Saturday at 1 o'clock at Grosse Pointe.
They play that. Oh, yeah, you're right. It does say Saturday at 1.
Because it's more than 75 miles apart, the away school.
Oh, that's the rule. Okay.
The away school can decide, hey, we want to play Saturday. No, we want to play Friday night. So they're playing Saturday at 1 o'clock. I'd rather play Friday night that far because you're going from essentially Lansing, Leslie, to all the way down to northeast-ish Detroit, right? Grosse Pointe. And that's almost 2 hours from like Lansing there.
Right.
And be there I'd much rather have the late night than the early morning.
Yeah.
But of course you can go to jtv.tv for all of the video highlights, coach interviews. I'll have an article from Springport, photo gathers, everything. So but what we have we haven't talked about it ever on this show until now. The next sport that we're gonna be playing.
What sport? What sport is that?
Pickleball. We went over to the Old American One Event Center with Stu Kale, fellow Packer shareholder. We haven't talked though since the last game.
You guys were pretty excited going into that game because we filmed this before the Lions.
This was before we
Packers.
filmed. We filmed this before the game.
Right. But I don't think in the segment we talk about it at all. But definitely after the camera stopped rolling, I'm like, "Ooh, you guys think the Packers are going to win? You guys are pretty confident."
But that is coming up. When we come back, I'm going to be playing pickleball, which I didn't think I'd be playing pickleball here. Usually only in the nice weather. But pickleball with Stu Kale when we return. The David Royce Show on the road today here at the Old American One Event Center. The new one right over there. We're here at Keeley Park, Jackson County Fairgrounds. We're going to be talking today with Stu Kale now from the Crossroads Pickleball. That's what the Old American One Center is now, the American One Community Rec Center. Crossroads Pickleball. Pickleball, to me, the fastest growing sport anywhere. I've played a couple of times, but I still might need some basics on how to exactly play. And for those of you that watching or listening that maybe haven't played either, well, we're going to talk to Stu Kale from Crossroads and get some inside knowledge. And who knows, maybe we'll even show you that we're going to play some pickleball. So let's go inside and talk to Stu. We're inside now here at Crossroads Pickleball. Fellow Packers shareholder, Stu Kale from Crossroads. Thanks for doing this, for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Crossroads, of course, we're inside the Old American One Event Center here. Many events held here is what people know this building for. And now it's the home of the pickleball.
Yeah, it was a roller rink at one point. I know I've been to weddings here. I've been to a circus here once before, Crossroads. And so our partnership with the county has been fantastic. And of course, American One coming in and investing in this building for all new bathrooms, shower. It's incredible inside from where it was at almost a little bit over a year ago.
Yeah, in just a year, it went from that to all of this now, and great partners helping to make this possible too.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got support from 6 businesses here in Jackson. So each of the courts are named after those businesses. So when you go on the app to go reserve a time or book a court, those are actually the court names that you'll see right there on the app.
Yeah. And of course, there's memberships available, right?
Yeah, so we wanted to make our model a little unique. We looked at models across the entire state of Michigan and actually across the U.S., and we wanted to make it so that your membership got you something. A lot of times membership just gives you a little bit earlier access to reserving courts or to getting into tournaments or open play. So we actually have two different membership options. You can have the option where basically you get to play unlimited in the mornings most days of the week. Or we have like a more of an elite one that if you want to say, hey, I'm all in, I want to play a little bit more. And both of those membership options give you a discount on leagues and tournaments and other things we have here at Crossroads.
And for beginners or somebody who maybe hasn't played pickleball or very limited, you guys offer intro to pickleball classes.
We do, and we were warming up a little bit earlier, and you do not need those classes. You're going to be totally fine. But we do an intro to pickleball class, typically runs about every other week, and it is a great, we've had over about 250 people or so have gone through that since we've opened our doors last year. It's a great way to learn the game. There's a lot of funky rules about pickleball.
Yeah.
They're not overly difficult to get. If you're a tennis player, sometimes it's hard to switch your brain off a little bit, but there's a lot of rules, and we want to make sure we can go through those with you so you have the most fun when you get out here.
Right, yeah, I was just going to ask, some people might think, oh, is it just tennis? Not exactly. Slightly different. Quite a few different rules that can get funky.
It is, yeah. There's this middle section of the court. It's called the non-volley zone. People call it the kitchen. You're not allowed to go in there,
right?
Unless the ball goes in there first. So sometimes that's a hard one for a lot of people to get. But yeah, it's definitely has characteristics of tennis, characteristics of ping pong, but it's its own unique game.
Yeah, and you guys have mixers and other events too here, right?
Yeah. So we've had, I think, 3 or 4 mixers since we've opened a year ago. Mixers are so much fun because you get a bunch of people together that may not all play at the same time. We've got multiple courts set up for advanced and intermediate and beginner. So sometimes people want to learn a little bit like, hey, could I play up a level? And that's a great time to do it.
Yeah. Of course, I won't need the lessons, but I think we should step out here, right? Show people what they want to see, right?
Let's show them. Let's show them.
Let's do it. So, real quick here, before we actually get to the action of the game, like we mentioned earlier, slightly different rules than tennis. If you want to explain maybe quickly here some of the differences between tennis and pickleball. Obviously, we're right here, the kitchen, right, or the non-volley.
Yeah, we're in the zone you don't want to be in.
Right.
You don't want to be in. Now, I was not a big racket sport player, so I didn't play a ton of tennis leading up to pickleball. So I don't know all of the comparisons, but I'll tell you kind of the basics of the game. The games are typically played to 11, normally played in doubles is generally how you see. You can play as singles, it's a great workout, but typically it's doubles. At Crossroads, we play where the side up against this wall here starts out serving, it doesn't really matter, and you serve the ball into the opposing corner. The ball cannot fall into this non-volley zone on the serve, and that includes that front line. So it's got to go all the way in. It can hit the back line, the sidelines, but it can't go in that front one.
So
And then
it's got to be like a diagonal from that box to that box or vice versa.
Exactly. And you only, typically scoring is done where it's only when the team that's serving it is the one that would get the point in the event that would happen. So if there's a rally scoring, but that's not as common as you'd find. So.
All right, well, now that we got the basics out of the way, I'm going to take a few shots.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. And
no. So
underhand.
If you drop the ball, if you do not let the ball hit the ground and you hit it, the paddle's got to be going downward like this. You got to really hit it below your belly button.
Right.
And then you got to go on an upward motion. So you can't go like this to serve the ball.
Right.
But if you drop the ball, you can basically do whatever you want as long as you bounce it.
Right. Going to be bounce here, and then the underhand. And see, that wasn't very good there. That's got to be diagonal in the square.
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, you want to typically hit it. Really, when you're serving the ball, there's a lot of strategy you can put into your serve. It's really not as important, to be honest with you, especially if you're just learning the game. But really, typically, further back, the better. Now, keep in mind, the team that's serving the ball also has to let the ball bounce one more time on their side before they can basically then kind of have a free-for-all.
Right.
So I would serve to David, David would return it to me, we have to let it bounce one time, and then it's fair game, you can hit it out of the ground, but it can only be hit one time per side.
Right.
All right. So we'll go serve, so I'll have you just return it back to me, David. The best idea when you're returning a serve is to try to get it back here the best as possible, this back third. This area in here, you really never, ever want to be in.
Right.
You really want the game to get up right up here to the net, and then you do what's called dinking. It's kind of funny, but that's the term it is.
Right.
And that's where we're just kind of hitting the ball over the net, and we're waiting for basically someone to make a mistake.
Right.
Is more or less what happens there.
Be mostly back here.
Yeah,
so.
You want to be back there. Yep. All right. All right. All right.
And see, on the other way back, you got to let it bounce one time.
I would let it bounce once. Yep.
Yep.
All right, we'll do it again. Okay, here we go. I let it bounce once.
Oh! Okay,
Counts.
so
it counts.
So does that count then?
It does, yeah.
It goes over the net and on the line.
It does. Yeah, so in different to tennis, when I'm serving the ball, if the ball hits the net and still goes inside the square, it counts.
Right.
So, but yes, that would be. But normally, typically you apologize after a shot like that because it's kind of cheap how that happened.
Yeah. But hey, a point's a point.
A point's a point, yeah.
There you go.
So that was short.
Yep.
So you don't get a point.
Right.
And I don't get a point because we're playing standard.
You have to serve to get the point.
Yep, so it's 0-0. There we go.
Huh.
All right, 1-0. Oh, good. Oh, all right. So it's 1-0, your serve. You're going to be on that side of the court. Yep. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. You're going to be on that side of the court. We're playing a little backwards of how we started, but regardless.
So even though they don't get the point, they still won that and they switched sides, right?
You go back to the, so technically you would have normally started the game off on that side.
Yep.
So if you didn't score a point on yours in singles, you'd go back to that side that you were at. So since I scored a point, I was an odd, so I'd be on this side.
Right.
But we'll just play it this way for fun.
Yeah.
So it's 0-1. There we go. Good, David. That's in. That's a point.
So that's what's up.
All right. So that's basically pickleball in a nutshell.
Yeah. So I'm sweating here. Recover from it. No, that's awesome. I've played a few times, but I will have to come back though. So the mixer is open to anybody to come in?
Yeah, so members get a discount on that, but everything that happens at Crossroads happens through the Court Reserve app. So if you go on our website, it's pretty easy to find, but if you have any questions, message us on Facebook or shoot us an email.
Yeah, of course, follow Crossroads Pickleball on Facebook. Keep up with all their events. Do appreciate the time today. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dave.
So that was awesome. Filming pickleball. I've played before, so it's not like I personally needed, the instruction. But a lot of people, though, haven't played because it's still such a new sport. And I've only played, though, a handful of times, mostly in Florida. But that was a lot of fun, so.
Yeah, well, and for me, I've never been to a pickleball court. I've never played pickleball, so going into it, it's kind of daunting because I've never done it, seen it, played it. But makes me want to play it now. I kind of wanted to run out onto the court and start playing with you guys. So
yeah, you can follow Crossroads Pickleball on Facebook. If they have any classes or any mixers or open times to play, download the app too. That's everything is through the app. So. Old American One Event Center there at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. So I'll have to go over there sometime and actually play. So
yeah.
When we come back, we had a lot of fun doing the Rec Bowl recently, myself and Max Fritz. We'll show you some highlights from the Rec Bowl when we come back. Second down. 2 minutes in. Run to the right side. Stop behind the line. 3rd and long coming up for the Vikings.
Quarterback right there for the Vikings.
Eagles can get a stop here. He's going to roll out. He's going to throw. It's caught. That one, only a gain of a couple. 4th and long coming up.
We'll have at it.
4th down and long, going to get rid of it quickly. It's intercepted. Still going down the sideline, out of bounds at the 20. And the Eagles with a defensive takeaway.
Hey, good play there, though, by Maverick Kennedy. He threw the interception, but guess what? He then stayed with the play and pushed him out of bounds.
And, of course, Lesby will keep it himself. It's going to be a quarterback keeper for the Eagles. And he will be brought down at the 29. Got some good yards back. Still have 3 plays to make it happen. 2nd down coming up. Yeah, if Pat O'Dowd's watching, he's hopefully enjoying the Rec Bowl with a chicken Big Mac. Pressure by the defense. Eagles quarterback almost able to get away. 3rd down coming up. Great defensive pressure by the Vikings. It's an older movie, I believe, too, somewhat. 4th down. Gonna go for it here. And he stopped. Great defense by the Vikings. They'll take over at the 40. Man.
When I was a kid, I could not stand seafood.
Here's the quarterback for the Vikings, and he gets sacked. Pressure right away from the Eagles. Great defense on 1st down.
Go with yourself. Be who you are.
4th down, gonna throw. It's a screen, and he gets stopped. The Eagles will take over from the 32-yard line. Number 12 for the Eagles. Jace Anderson goes to park. 8 minutes to play in the 1st half. That one is caught on the pass. He'll get to about the 29-yard line. That's going to bring up 3rd down and long, a gain of about 3 there. 3rd down from the 30. A run up the middle. Always putting some moves on. He might be close to the 1st down. We'll see. I think they're going to mark him short. I'd love to see a Philly special. Here we go, 4th and 1. Quarterback trying to keep it. He's got it. He's got room. Open down the sideline to the 10. And he stopped there. They'll give him the forward progress. 1st down for the Eagles.
David, I don't know if that was a broken play or design, but it worked.
Not a lot of time to score in both halves. Every score is important. Going to throw. It's caught. What a catch. Leaping. Touchdown, Eagles.
Oh, boy. David, is this a Friday night or is this a Wednesday night?
Wow.
That looked like a high school play right there. Oh, my goodness. Look at this beautiful throw. Steps back in the pocket. Spiral action. Diving, extending catch.
Gillespie to number 10, Walls there for the Eagles. And that makes it 6-0. What a throw.
What a throw. What a catch.
It's going to be from the 5-yard line. 2-point try. Run to the right side, trying to get blockers. It's going to be close.
Oh.
Pushed out of bounds, but they gave it to him just over the pylon. 8-0 Eagles.
Looks like he hit the pylon, David, and of course
And I didn't know, I obviously saw him before that. I didn't know what he was going to dress up as until I saw him there. Oh, there's a fumble on the play. The Eagles say they have it, and they do. Wow, on 1st down, they got hit. Vikings offense, Eagles take advantage.
David, 53 seconds, though.
Eagles got to go quick. Gillespie, quarterback keeper, trying to get off everybody. He does. He gets the 1st down to the 30-yard line. 1st down from the 40. He'll be running the left side. And he is going to stay in bounds, cut back in to the 48. That's going to be a 1st down for the Eagles right away. Big play on offense.
Good run right there from the Eagles running back.
2nd down behind the sticks. Here comes a pass, maybe. He's going to try to keep it himself. Gets a couple yards back. 3rd down still coming up from behind the sticks. With Dr. John Griswold, keeping athletes strong and mobile in their sports.
Little trick play here, little flea flicker.
Trying to go behind the sticks, not going to get there. 4th and long coming up. 4th and long, trying to get some blockers. Deep pass, incomplete. So the Vikings will take over with a chance to score and tie it up with the 2. 20 minutes left. Food, mac and cheese. Terrifier 3 is his favorite movie. Wow, big stop there on defense by the Eagles, way behind the line.
Good.
Vikings still down 8-0, 15 minutes to play. Pass is caught. Oh, he's got a lot of room down the sideline. He is going to be short, but what a play, Max, to get all those yards back. 4th and short coming up. Vikings got a score. Quick pass, it's caught, and he gets the first down. Still going, cuts back in, breaks the tackles to the 10-yard line, and the Vikings knocking on the doorstep. Well, we're 2-3.
Oh, well.
Rodgers is my quarterback, though.
Oh, that really explains it.
That pass is dropped on 2nd down. Rodgers, I have Derrick Henry.
Okay. Backed him up a little bit. Must have been a penalty.
Yep, it's actually going to be
yeah.
first down for the Eagles. And some room. It'll bring up, I believe, 2nd, and that's going to be short of the first down. First down again coming up here for the Eagles. Again, the Eagles are up 8-0 with 9:10 left. 2nd down. Handoff left side. Again, number 2. And he will be brought down at the 30-yard line. That's a first down for the Eagles. That's a big first down, looking at the clock. There's a little trickery here. They're going to toss it back on first down. And he is going to get stopped at about the 25. He's going to lose about 4 yards. 2nd and long coming up. Down to 7 minutes to play.
David, I don't know
expected to. 2nd down for the Eagles. A run to the left side to about the 30. Just short of the first down, right at about the marker at the 40-yard line.
Really up deep right here.
That's going to be another run, and he'll get the first down right at midfield. Clock continuing to run for the Vikings if you're on defense.
Which just seems like a lot of kids on Halloween are going to be walking around in clown costumes.
Made a run there. We're down to 3 minutes to play if you're the Vikings.
Hey, another
I
clown.
thought they stopped at 3 or 4.
Another clown, Pennywise. I guess maybe he is enjoying the next one upcoming.
Shows you how much I keep up with the movies and entertainment. 3rd down here. They can get a first down. They will. With 2.5 minutes left, the first down for the Eagles. That can more than likely put this game away here.
Number 2 for the Eagles is just been on fire tonight. We are going to do a player and play of the game. I don't want to give anything away, but man, he is making a great contention for player of the game. He has done everything on the ground for the Eagles here tonight.
I'm not sure if they have one more timeout or not, but there's 1:04 left. And it is 4th down. Got to get the stop here. It's 4th and long. And let's see. No, they're going to pick up the first down. Unbelievable. What a play. That is going to end it.
Yet again, number 2. We unfortunately even don't have a roster up here. I think I just heard the PA guy say Bender. I want to hope that's his name because he has been doing amazing tonight. I mean, that run, that just sealed the game for the Eagles.
I mean, look at that right there. That was 4th and probably close to 15 yards. And he picked that up. And that is how this game is going to end. So your final score, the Eagles 8 and the Vikings 0 in our 5th and 6th grade Jackson Rec Department Youth Football Championship here on JTV.
Bringing the trophies out now, David, that's the best part for these kids. Getting to host that trophy and know that the long season has paid off. You see them celebrating right there. The final time officially expires.
Awesome celebration. 8-0 Eagles win on a great touchdown reception in the first half. They are going to hand out some trophies, and when we come back, we're going to hand out our player of the game and our play of the game. Stay tuned here on JTV. Welcome back here on JTV. You know, I hadn't watched all the Rec Bowl highlights, the full ones, until then. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we put that in the plays too on Monday.
Hey, that catch was well deserving. That was a crazy good catch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On quarterback under pressure, so he just
Dropping
pops
the
it
dime.
up. That's my favorite broadcast of the year besides playoffs. Oh wait.
Oh yeah, we can't do playoffs.
Oh, wait.
That's right.
Anyways, high school volleyball district started Monday for a couple teams. Most of the schools play tonight, though, Wednesday. Northwest taking on Coldwater, 5 o'clock. J High playing the host school Sturgis at 7. I will be at Chelsea. They play Columbia at 7, and then Western Pinckney at 5 o'clock. So I'll be in here at 7 o'clock right now, and I'll be in 2 places at once. The Magic.
Yeah, you can do that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Division 3 at Dansville, Lumen taking on Springport at 5 o'clock. Quincy, Hanover taking on the host school at 5:30. Hanover, the heavy favorite in that district. I think combined all the schools in that district at Quincy, I think there's 150 people total that live between all of those areas.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Because there's Hillsdale, Quincy, Homer, maybe not Homer, Hanover. But anyways, Quincy playing Hanover at 5:30. Grass Lake, the only local school that's not playing any other local school, other than football, they always get sent east for a lot of their districts. So Grass Lake playing Whitmore Lake at Whitmore at 5:30. Concord hosting, they play Vandercook at 5:30. The Cook, and then Jackson Christian taking on Bellevue right after that at 7 o'clock. So coming up on Monday's show, we'll have those volleyball highlights from Chelsea. You can check out photo galleries online, JTV.tv. I believe our own Jeff Steers will be at Chelsea as well. So, and while you're at it online, JTV.tv, you can subscribe for free to your favorite school, whether it is Columbia or Western, Northwest, or J High, or any of these schools that are playing tonight in volleyball, or the cross-country finals that happened last weekend at MIS, or anything else, or any of our 2 colleges here as well, because college basketball just started.
That's right. Spring Arbor, Jackson College, for sure.
JTV.tv, and you know what? What's the cost?
0.0.
0.00.
Yo, $0.00.
But it's free. We're not behind a paywall. We're the only place in Jackson that's not behind a paywall.
That's right.
But subscribe for free to your favorite school. You can do more than one school too. I think Andy has all the schools subscribed.
I have a feel. One day I just want to go in there and just subscribe you to every single school, just so you get a bunch of emails every single day.
Well, it only comes in once per week. You get it sent to your
see, that's
inbox.
cool. I like that it's once per
Tuesday
week.
at 9 o'clock.
Oh, see, I like that it's once per week. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the latest essentially round up what's happened that we've covered with that school in the last week. So
yeah,
every time I get my email, I get a lot of them, but I'll subscribe to all of them.
Yeah,
so
sweet.
we support all the schools here. And of course, after all the football games Friday, check our weekend wrap-up scoreboard Sunday morning on our website. That's got not just all the football scores and stats, but all the sports and collegiate events that have happened. So Michigan's on a bye week. They need it. I don't know. I think I don't know who Michigan State plays. Ohio State is playing Northwestern at Wrigley Field.
Oh, why are they playing at Wrigley?
No, that's next weekend. Sorry, that's next weekend. The 16th. But still, it's at noon at Wrigley Field because Northwestern, they're building a new field. Their temporary field is like a like a Texas high school football stadium right on the lake.
Oh yes, I've seen that. That's right.
But they're playing against Ohio State because of the crowd.
So they got to go to
someplace at Wrigley Field.
Oh, that's cool.
That'd be cool. That'd be weird to have. I know they've done it before, obviously, historic places where they've had a football field in the middle of a baseball stadium, but Wrigley Field, that'll be weird.
And they've done like bowl games at like the Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium, but we haven't seen this in a while. I will tell you this, though, bad news, Michigan does play this week.
They play
Indiana at Indiana.
That's right. Okay.
What do you think about our chances at Indiana real quick?
0. I don't know why I said I don't know why I said bye week. Was I thinking Michigan State?
Yeah, Michigan State's on a bye week.
Okay.
So that's what it is. Yep. No, you're good.
No chance against Indiana. And Indiana actually was the first college football playoff rankings came out last night. I watched that right before all the, the big thing everybody was talking about, all the results coming in. But I watched the playoff rankings before. Indiana was number, I think, 8. But it's weird how they do it now, not just straight up the 12 best teams. If you win your conference,
it's all
one
about
of the 5.
conference winners and then getting a bye.
It's like the NFL. Stuff. If you win your division,
right.
So like Boise State, obviously they're very good, but they won the Mountain West, and they're going to be like number 5.
You can argue they got the best player in the country.
That's right.
Right.
But you know who is going to get really screwed? Real quick, so we're out of time, is BYU.
Oh, I was wondering where this was going. Okay.
They brought up the point yesterday. BYU
they get a bye.
Right now they do, but they should be ranked higher than number. Well, if they finish,
4. I think they're 4.
That's as high as they're gonna go.
Yeah.
But I forget who it was. It wasn't Booger. It was on the show there. Not Greg, Joey Galloway. He brought up that Indiana is going to get screwed, even if they, lose to Ohio State in a couple of weeks, which I think Ohio State will beat Indiana. But besides that, Indiana's not going to lose. But because they won't win the Big Ten, Indiana's going to be like ranked number.
I was going to say they got to be
11
out. Yeah, they're going to be
10.
at large or whatever it's called.
But they're going to get screwed because up to Ohio State, they haven't played anybody.
Yeah.
Now they've scored 40, 50 points, and they've just been beating the living you-know-what out of all these teams. But they're still favoring teams like Texas, who has a loss, or Georgia, who could have 2 losses.
What happens when Indiana faces an SEC school? And we're talking about like a top-tier school. So we're talking about like one of the schools that's in the playoffs. Like, what's going to happen?
Like if Indiana were to play Texas or Georgia.
Say first round they face Georgia. Let's just say first round Indiana faces Georgia.
I think that'd be an interesting game.
I don't think Indiana has a chance. I think Indiana.
I know Indiana hasn't played anybody, so that's a fair. Yeah. Like that'll be their other than Ohio State. That would be if they were to play their first or second real test. But also, even though Georgia has won, I know they lost to.
They lost to Alabama.
Texas.
Alabama. No, they beat Texas. Georgia beat Texas. They lost to Alabama.
Oh, yeah. Because they were beating Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And anyways.
It was that big comeback.
But Georgia, even though they've won every game besides Alabama against some of those other big schools, they've looked really sloppy. And that's the point that they brought up on the show is even though they've won, you should still rank them based on how they actually played because Georgia didn't play excellent against Florida. They
got the job done, but against a freshman and then an even more freshman than the previous freshman.
And they played. I don't have their schedule right in front of me, but they played. I think a couple other pretty exceptional ranked teams in the SEC. They won, but it was. They played horrible, and they still won.
I mean,
they were saying the way the committee looks at it is just. If you win, we still look at you the same. You could win 7-0 against, against South Carolina,
right.
And they would still look at Georgia the
same. It was probably that Kentucky game that you were thinking of, that 13-12 Kentucky game. That
Kentucky.
Was really close.
I think there was another. Was there another game that it was low scoring or not good, but they
41-31 over Mississippi State. That's probably closer than they would want it with Mississippi State.
Yeah, Mississippi State's not even a ranked.
But the problem is, you look at these games on paper. It's like they beat Florida by 2 touchdowns. They beat Mississippi State by 10.
But it was close for most of the Florida game.
For sure, but if you're just looking at final score,
Right, and that's how the committee looks at it. It's just, they beat Florida, so we're going to keep them where they are. Not the fact that, we only, beat Kentucky 13-12 or it also
something like that,
performance I think needs to be a play. And if that were the case, Indiana would be number 3.
Right. Well, and then to talk a little bit more about Georgia, we'll know if they're for real. Obviously, the last 2 games against Massachusetts at home, not going to matter. at home against Georgia Tech. Not going to matter.
Who schedules their
Massachusetts.
non-conference game against UMass in like week 11?
It's pretty smart. If they get, but here's what I was going to say.
If it comes down to it.
Right. The games before that, they got Ole Miss this week.
Ole Miss is number...
Ole Miss is 16.
Okay, so that's good for their resume.
And then Tennessee, 7th. Ole Miss is on the road this week.
I think Tennessee beats Georgia. I said that on the show a couple weeks ago.
Don't say that.
Remember, because I thought they had already played and I was wrong.
Don't say that, David. Don't say that.
I know you're riding high with
SEC.
Georgia.
I know. I want Georgia to win the SEC.
I'm taking the Vols. They'll beat Ole Miss.
I think they beat Ole Miss. I think Tennessee Georgia's in Georgia. This
I'll
game.
have to send it to you after the show so we can have it right here. But I saw a tweet yesterday and it said, if this SEC team, I forget exactly who it was, were to beat this team and this team were to beat this team, just those two matchups, we'd have an 8-way tie in the SEC.
Oh my gosh!
Because there's no divisions anymore.
Oh, I wonder how they'll do that. Well,
and somebody broke down the formula of how they determine it. I think it would be LSU against somebody.
Oh, that's weird. Texas?
Yeah. It wasn't Texas.
Oh, because
I know it wasn't
tie.
Texas.
Oh, weird.
Because they would lose the tiebreaker. But anyways, we have a good weekend of college football. Good NFL games. The Jets got flexed out of prime time coming up in a couple of weeks, which is good because the Jets still suck. But that's going to do it for us. JTV.tv for all the high school football playoff coverage and volleyball. That's Adam. I'm David. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll talk to you Monday.